Our list is not gathering enough resources. I can't say this one enough. Building is such a core mechanic of Fortnite, and you always hear the pro players and the streamers say that new players have to learn how to build. And if you can't do that, you're not going to have any success, and you can't have any success if you don't have enough resources. The first thing you should do when you drop into a map is grab a gun, but the next thing after that needs to be getting resources so you can be prepared for whatever is happening next. You need resources for pretty much everything in this game. Building walls to block out enemies, building ramps to get up to a new area for more stuff, building a tower to hunker down and hold down a certain area. And none of those things can be done if you run out of resources. And let me tell you from experience, there is nothing worse in a game than running out of resources right when you really need them. So you need to be sure that you always have enough building materials to get you through the next fight. And this actually happened to me yesterday. It wasn't because I wasn't aware of it, it just happened. And by the end of the game, we lost because I didn't have enough resources to help my teammates put up enough cover. So it is vital. At number 9, we're going to go to the opposite end of the spectrum here. Gathering too many resources. Okay. I know. I just said you have to gather a lot of resources, and I know that I mentioned at this point before, but I'm going to say it again. You have to learn the difference between not enough and too much, because if you're out gathering resources when you really don't need any, you're going to get spotted and probably shot along the way. It is hard to know just how many resources you're going to need to get by, but the more you play the game, the more you're going to be able to figure out that magic number to keep all your resource counts at. Now, figure out what is a good amount and stick to it. Even if you don't think you're in danger, stick to that number and hunker down in a certain area. Don't go hunting for resources when you really don't need them, because you're just going to end up regretting it when you get spotted and blown away. And I want to know, do you have that teammate? Because I have a teammate, I'm not going to call him out, but that one guy or girl, that's all they do is harvest. They play Minecraft in Fortnite. They literally don't care what's going on around them. They are oblivious to their surroundings. They just want to knock all the trees down or the entire house. At number 8, engaging at long range with ARs. The gunplay in Fortnite is a little weird due to the fact that there is rifle bloom when aiming down sights with automatic and semi-automatic weapons. I'm sure plenty of you have experienced this, where you think you're going to destroy somebody, but the gun just doesn't work with you and you end up getting killed for it. Now, I understand. The rifle bloom with the guns in the game is awkward, and personally I hope they change it, but that doesn't mean that you can ignore it. It's part of the game. You have to learn how to work with the rifle bloom and know what ranges each weapon is effective at because of it. If you aren't confident shooting at someone at range, then don't do it. One of the most common noob mistakes in Fortnite is trying to engage someone at long range with an assault rifle and then just getting trashed because they don't fully understand how the rifle bloom works just yet. If you're not confident that you can kill someone from range that they're at, don't engage them. Just let them pass and carry on. Maybe flank them, get sneaky with it. Just be careful. At number 7, sniping without cover. Speaking of long range, let's talk a little bit about sniping now. Landing a shot on someone from long range with a sniper rifle in Fortnite is super satisfying, and it makes you feel like a total badass when you drop someone from 200 meters or beyond. But a common noob mistake is sniping at someone without any cover, and let me explain what I mean by that. When you take a shot at someone with a sniper rifle and don't have anywhere to retreat to in order to reload the gun, snipers are the loudest and slowest firing weapons in the entire game, and that, my friends, can be a recipe for disaster if you don't have anywhere to cover yourself in between the shots. Now, I've seen so many people standing up on mountains, sniping someone without any cover, and then they just get themselves sniped by someone else in between the shots. Little tip from me to you guys. When you are sniping, always assume that someone else has a sniper and they are looking at you the same way that you are looking at someone else. This will help you be aware of your surroundings and you'll play a little more cautious and a little more safe. At number 6, and I know everybody is guilty of this. Just come on now, drop a like if you're guilty of this, okay? I just dropped a like myself. Miscalculating fall damage. Fall damage is an interesting case in Fortnite as it's very inconsistent at times. Because of the inconsistencies in this department, you should always try to play it safe when you're dropping down a building or a mountain. Always try to build some platforms on the way down so you don't just splat onto the pavement and kill yourself. Now, learn how to judge distances for fall damages and how far you can go without taking any damage. And then if you're too high up to land safely, be sure that you're ready to make platforms on the way down so you don't end up having to go find a new lobby and be embarrassed. Now, I'll admit, it's pretty funny to see someone miscalculate the fall distance and end up eliminating themselves, but it's infuriating when it happens to you. So make sure you can prevent yourself from becoming the laughingstock of the lobby. Cracking into the top 5, and I want to know, what is the biggest mistake you've ever made in the endgame of a Fortnite Battle Royale? There's only a couple people left, and you just did something so bonehead, and then after the game, you realized it, and you're like, wow, that actually happened. And that's what happens in Fortnite. We learn from our mistakes. After the game's over, me and my buddies usually talk about what we did wrong, how we could have engaged different, and that is the fun of the game. Well, what about this one? Not having a shotgun. This one is basic, but people still do it from time to time. If you don't have a shotgun, you need to get one. Shotguns absolutely dominate close range combat, and they will almost always beat out SMGs and ARs in those scenarios. It is always smart to have a close range weapon in your loadout, and that weapon should always be a shotgun. Shotgun should be the first thing you try to grab when you drop in the map, and I know that the way Fortnite works, that's not always in your power to do, but always try your best to grab a shotty as soon as you possibly can. Whenever you don't have a shotgun on you, you almost always regret it later on in the match when someone comes up and blasts you with one and takes you out with one headshot. Always have a shotgun in your loadout. At number 4, not swapping for higher rarities. Speaking of guns, let's talk about the different rarities for a minute. I'm sure all of you know that Fortnite Battle Royale has a heavy reliance on the different rarities of guns and the statistical differences between them. To put it bluntly, you should always pick up the better rarity of whatever gun you're currently using. I mean, I get it if you like the color green better than blue, but technically, you should just let that go. If you have a green assault rifle and you see the blue one, pick it up. If you're using a blue gun and you see a purple one, pick it up. The differences between rarities are slight, but it's still noticeable, and they improve the damage and the reload time as well. If two equally skilled players go up against each other with the same guns, but one of them is using a higher rarity, they will win the fight more times than not. You should always be prepared for that scenario by grabbing the higher rarity weapons when you see them. Don't be that guy or girl that says, oh, well, the green AR has been lucky for me, I'm not going to go with the blue. Just take the freaking blue gun. At number 3, not building a tower. Have you ever wondered why you always see people in Fortnite building towers when they're hunkering down in a certain area? Well, it's because it's a good idea half the time. If you have the resources to do so, we talked about resources earlier, you should always be building a tower in wherever it is you are sitting and waiting for the fights to start, or you're bandaging, or you're putting your shields on. Whatever you're doing, you need cover. One of the worst decisions you can make in the later parts of a Battle Royale match is not building cover, because if you're going up against someone who does have a tower, you will lose that fight 9 times out of 10. Learning how to build towers quickly is tough since there's not really any practice for it and you have to learn on the fly, but you should absolutely learn how to do it, and a player with a tower will almost always beat a player without one, even most instances in a ramp rush, because you have the higher ground. The higher ground dominates in Fortnite. At number 2, picking your shots. I kind of mentioned this one earlier with the rifle bloom on the assault rifles, but it really applies to every situation with every gun in the game. Battle Royale games are not games that you can play aggressively, and because it's a 100-person free-for-all, you really don't want to give away your position unless you know for a fact that you can live your way through it. I say that not play aggressively. Really good players can play aggressively, but the majority, the vast player base, have to pick their spots. Even if you have a sniper rifle or a long-range weapon, you have to be able to pick your shots wisely or you're going to regret it. If you think someone is a little too far away from you, don't engage them. Let someone else go at them. You'll get a better chance or opportunity down the road. You never know when someone far away is a better shot than you, or if they have a sniper rifle and can punish you for giving away your position. This also applies to close range engagements, like when you and an enemy are in the same house and you don't want to give away where you are with your footsteps or your gunfire. A good rule of thumb is if you're not 99% sure you can kill someone, don't engage them. Just let them pass and get picked off by someone else, or you shooting them in the back, because it's one and done in Battle Royale, and that's what makes it so unique. If you mess up, you're done. And finally, playing too aggressively. This is easily the biggest noob mistake in any Battle Royale game. If you're trying to play Battle Royale games aggressively and your name is not Ninja or Myth or one of the other just Battle Royale stars out there, you're probably doing it wrong. Battle Royale games require you to be patient, to be aware of your surroundings, and those two things simply cannot be accomplished if you're zooming around looking for people to shoot at. Unless you're an absolute god at the game, you should pick your spots where you're aggressive. Now, I'm not saying camp in the corner for as long as possible, because then you never learn anything about the way the game should be played. But definitely learn the balance between passive play and aggressive play. There's a healthy balance between the two styles that every Fortnite player needs to learn before they will really succeed. And there you have it, my friends. Those are 10 of the dumbest decisions that you can make in Fortnite. Let me know what the dumbest decision you have ever made. For me personally, it was probably playing a duo, and we decided to build above the guys below us, and we were trying to trap them in the storm and be cute with it, and they just RPG'd us down, and we fell to our deaths. It was pretty dumb. We wasted a victory royale. Thank you for all the support you guys have been showing on the Fortnite videos. They were just shooting to the moon. I truly, truly appreciate it. There's a